We got them Ja ones on deck, but I don't know how much longer y'all gonna see these in the playoffs. Like, shout out Dylan Brooks though. Looks like Memphis wasn't that good in the West. I don't know. What's good, family? You are looking live at another episode of Special Delivery, and as y'all can see, we have the Ja 1 on tap today. And this is Nike's very first Gen Z signature sneaker, meaning that this is the first Gen Z athlete at Nike to get a signature sneaker in Ja Morant. And that's a pretty cool thing in itself. Like, I feel like that is kind of the story of this sneaker, but it's also a solid looking shoe. I do think that this joint has that whole Kobe-fication thing, that whole Kobe vibe going with it, which is fine. And I also think that this shoe has probably a little bit too many messages on it. It took us like 15 minutes to try and decode this joint, and I still don't feel like we completely have it, but I love the colors, I love the colorway, and I just think that it's really nice to see an athlete like Ja Morant getting this sneaker right here. So we're gonna go over some of the details on this joint today, but before we do that, y'all know the vibes, man. We gotta actually unbox this joint. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's crack these things open, see what we working with. Actually, before we get into that, I want to get into the box really quick. Just some nice stuff here. You got Ja Morant's 12 right there. You got his name right here on the box. You also got 12 written out in chalk right there, which is really cool. Got Ja's logo on the top, which obviously is also his name, Ja. And it just is a nice, like, cement street-ish color blue, which I think is really cool. Like, this just looks really nice as a box. So cracking it open actually and taking a look at this shoe. These joints are fire too, man. This is a fire sneaker. This is really nice, man. I really feel like it is kind of like holding a Kobe in my hand, which I will say, we talked about that Kobe-fication thing before. It's weird to see it in every shoe, but I think this is actually a pretty good example of it. And obviously you got this this kind of Memphis Grizzlies baby blue color on the upper, and it's made mostly out of this mesh material, as you can see, but there are some different materials on here that we'll get into. Starting with the toe, you got this like synthetic leather material right here as the toe guard, which is supposed to give you that protection. You go up the vamp, you see you got a little bit of mesh, and this is actually a really wide shoe right here, as y'all can see. You have a little bit of reinforcement on the sides as well, on both the lateral and the medial side. Actually, on the medial side, you have some perforations for that breathability of the sneaker. Tongue, not really anything special here. You got these baby blue colored laces, and then you go to the tongue tag right there. You see that Ja logo here. You got the swoosh, which is like, it goes from it's this gradient, and it goes from pink to like this yellowish color right there, which is a nice touch to this shoe. And also it's like connected on both sides. It goes around the whole shoe, which is a really cool touch. You go to the midsole right here. It's this yellow kind of off-white-ish color. Like it just looks like it's kind of aged, which that's kind of the thing in sneakers now. I'm not sure if that's like the effect that they were trying to look for with this sneaker in particular, but I do think it's a really nice color to add to this joint. But the thing about this shoe is that there are so many different hidden messages in this joint. Like, when I tell y'all I spent like 15 minutes trying to decode it, I really mean that. We were just sitting, everybody was waiting on me to like figure out the different things here. And I don't even feel like I broke it down completely. Janelle helped me out. There are a bunch of different messages here. On the heel counter, you see you got 12 a.m. right here, which is supposed to represent a slogan. It's 12 a.m. somewhere, which speaks to how hard Ja Morant works as a player. You have this signature right here, this 1MT, which is supposed to represent Ja's parents on the sneaker. You have the 12 right here on the heel. You've got Ja's daughter's name, Kyrie, right here on the medial side of the midsole. You've got start from scratch right here on the outsole. And then you got that 1MT once again right there on the tip of the toe. You go to the outsole right here, you got that Morant logo, and it's this like really nice pink color, which I think is really cool. This colorway is really nice. The insole actually has a message in it as well, which is really dope. They clearly put a lot of thought into the detail and the messaging that they put on this sneaker. I do feel like it's a little too on the nose, I will say. Like, I would appreciate some more subtle messaging, but I also do enjoy this colorway, and I think this is a genuinely solid basketball sneaker, which is not something that we can say about too many other models out there at this point. So I don't really have too many complaints about this joint, but the complaints I do have, we'll talk about them in story time. This is a dope signature model, and I really appreciate this for what it is, but at the same time, I can't sit here and act like this shoe didn't come with a little bit of controversy. And I'm not talking about the stuff that Ja Morant has been through over the last couple months. I'm talking about the whole Kyrie Irving thing. So once this shoe came along, a lot of people assumed that this was the model that Nike had ushered in to sort of replace Kyrie Irving, who they had just let go of after the whole anti-Semitic video and the retweet thing happened. And Kyrie got suspended by the NBA, and then Nike let him go. And then after that, they also announced that Ja Morant had a signature shoe coming, which, man, that just was not really the greatest look in the world. Not for Ja Morant in particular, because it didn't really give this signature shoe right here any space to breathe. A lot of people just assumed that this was the shoe that Nike was using to replace Kyrie Irving with, when really this is really just what it is. Like, this is the Ja 1. It's the Ja 1 signature sneaker. That's what we should really look at it as. But people couldn't really do that, especially considering the fact that the same guy who designed some of Kyrie Irving's sneakers also designed these sneakers right here. It definitely all looked a little funny in the light. And look, I'm not here to defend Kyrie Irving, not at all. Like, that, look, what happened, happened. I have no problems with it. I just want to make sure that we give the Ja 1 all the room it needs to sort of grow into its own signature sneaker line and develop into what it should be. And I don't think we can do that if we still have the whole specter of the Kyrie Irving saga in the rearview mirror for us. So I just hope that all you sneaker loving folks out there, especially you basketball sneaker loving folks, can kind of put that past incident aside with Kyrie and accept this sneaker for what it is, because I think it's a pretty good one. And it's also a pretty important one for Nike, considering that Ja Morant, again, is Nike's very first Gen Z athlete. He is the one who is going to have to carry this brand into the future, and that's a pretty big deal. Let's talk about that. There's a lot of pressure on Ja Morant with this sneaker right here. Again, he is Nike's only Gen Z athlete, and when you think about it, the other rosters that are out there, you've got Adidas with Trae Young and Donovan Mitchell, who isn't a Gen Z athlete, but is very Gen Z adjacent. You've got Jordan Brand with Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, Zion Williamson. You've even got Puma with LaMelo Ball, right? Like, there are just a number of Gen Z signature athletes out there, and Nike is just now getting into that game. And that's a really important game, because sneakers are a young person's world, man. Like, when you think about who consumes shoes the most, it is younger folks. And Ja Morant is somebody who younger folks who can sell to younger folks, I should say. And that's a very important thing. It's like how Allen Iverson used to be for generations like mine and generations previously, right? Like, this is just a guy who sort of exudes that cool that you kind of want to be a part of. That's what Ja Morant is. And for Nike to have him, that's pretty important, but he is kind of on his own with this, right? Like, there's no other Gen Z athlete to sort of shoulder that burden. He's still there with some of the OGs, which is a nice honor for him, but it puts a lot on him. So there's a lot riding on this sneaker right here. Nike needs these joints to work, and I think for this first model, it is so far. Again, there are some complaints that I have about it, like the whole Kobe-fication thing, but that's a basketball sneaker thing in general. And then some of the totally on-the-nose messaging that you see on here. But at the same time, this is a good first attempt, and it's available and affordable for people. I can't really complain too much about it. I'll just say that. I'm very curious and interested in seeing how this line goes along. But anyway, fam, that's a wrap for Special Delivery. I'm your boy Sykes, and this is the Ja 1. We'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.